What the hell is going on? Kuro, where the hell is Scar? Remember the character back in 1.0 that everyone loved and wanted? The person that got imprisoned, and then 1.1 Phrolova said she was about to break him out of prison, and never did? Yeah, that guy. Where the hell is Scar? Scar is a character that was introduced to us in Act 3 of 1.0. He was the main antagonist of 1.0 and people loved him. People loved Scar. People wanted more of Scar. Scar was defeated by Rover and then imprisoned by Jinji and the other main members of the Wuthering Waves cast. And after that we never heard from him again. Until in 1.1 at the end Phrolova said this.
This trip was worth it. We've collected many wonderful notes, haven't we? It's about time. Get moving. Can't let a certain someone wait too long behind bars.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. That was the last time we got a reference towards Scar in the story of Wuthering Waves. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm confused, Kuro. Kuro Games, I am confused. Please help me understand what were your original plans for Scar. Because it clearly says that Phrolova was going to go back to Jinjo to break the boy out of prison, and we never saw that. That would have been a huge event in Wuthering Waves, just seeing the siege of Jinjo, breaking Scar out of prison, and then seeing the Fractidus disappear to then plot the next part of their plan. Whether or not it was to finally release the Overthrax, whether it was to go to Renacita like we've seen, or the New Federation, or something, we will now never know. For all we know, and I'm sure this isn't the case, but for all we know, Kuro Games took Scar and went, yeah, we'll just indefinitely shelf this man until we can find a way to shoehorn him into the story. Because as we all know, there were rewrites in the stories of Wuthering Waves, and we don't even know what the original story would have been. For all we know, Scar was incorporated in the original main story of Wuthering Waves permanently as a continuous appearing villain, and now we just don't know. We just don't know what Kuro Games originally planned for the story of Wuthering Waves and what the original plans were for Scar. I really hope Kuro Games have not forgotten about Scar, because if they have, then they have severely dropped the ball. They've fumbled the bag with Scar, because how can you have such an amazing antagonist in 1.0 for him then to get imprisoned, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. Then we see a cliffhanger at the end of 1.1 where Phrolova goes, I believe someone has waited behind bars long enough. Then nothing. Radio silence. Nada. Zilch. Zero. We have got nothing since 1.1. Not even a single reference, and it's a goddamn shame, because Scar was a very well designed character, a very interesting character, a mysterious character who I wanted to know more about, and many other people in the community wanted to know more about, and for him then to be imprisoned referenced his prison break, and then nothing either shows that they severely rewrote his story, or they just forgot, or they've chosen a different tone of the game going into Renacita, and they've gone, we'll eventually come back to it in the future, but not right now. We're too focused on Renacita, because Renacita is making us money, Renacita is where the popularity is, and eventually, of course, when we do go to more of a darker tone and we do see Scar again, we'll figure it out when we cross that bridge. Guys, Scar has definitely been forgotten, but we will return to him in due course. Okay, now that that little rant is over, I'm going to be going over my predictions, my personal predictions of where I believe the story is going to go surrounding Scar and how they're going to reintroduce him into the story going forward. Okay, so not too long ago we got the announcement of two brand new playable characters coming to Wuthering Waves in the very near future. We have Cartethia, who's going to be able to transform into Fleur-de-Lis, and alongside her we have Lupa. Now, Lupa is from a place called Septimon. Septimon is the next place we're most likely going to be visiting in Renacita going forward in the future updates. Septimon has been referenced by Carlotta and other characters in the 2.x story so far. But also, another place that has been teased is the New Federation. Why do you think it's been teased? Well, because in one of the recent cinematics we saw none other than the man who was forgotten, one of the original fan favorites of the original cast of Wuthering Waves, Calcaro. Now, Calcaro in lore is originally from the New Federation, and where is the New Federation, you ask? Huanglong. It's off the coast of Huanglong. It still remains in the region of Huanglong, which means down the road we are going to be making our return to Huanglong, which means we are very much likely going to be stopping by Jinjo, visiting Jinji, visiting WUWA, visiting all of the old gang like Yang Yang and Chisia and the rest of them. And what other character is waiting for us back in Jinzhou, the one who's been imprisoned since 1.0? Scar. So I have no doubt that before we travel back to Huanglong and go to the New Federation, we're going to be stopping by Jinzhou and saying hello to our old friends, and potentially, very likely, we're going to be referencing Scar, or maybe even visiting Scar, or maybe, since we recently fought Phrolova, we are going to be seeing Phrolova return to break Scar out of prison. Can you imagine? We go back, we say hello to each and every person that we've met back in 1.0, we say hello, we then get a reference to Scar, we then tell Jinshi and the others that we fought Phrolova and the other members of the Fractidus, they get a little bit concerned, they go check on Scar, and then out of nowhere, Phrolova turns up to break him out of prison, break him out of the cells. He transforms into his goat form, Phrolova activates Hecate, they bust out of prison, they lay waste to the city of Jinzhou, and they flee to the New Federation, since for whatever reason that is part of their plans. Because as we know, at the end of 2.2, which was the last time we played the main story, we saw Phrolova watching over Rova, and obviously the Fractidus want to erase the Sentinels. They do not want the Sentinels to exist anymore. We saw this back in 1.1 when they poisoned the regeneration chamber of WUWA. WUWA became sick, WUWA was becoming corrupted, and WUWA was very, very weak from the process. We know the whole point of the Fractidus is to basically resurrect the Thronodians and basically kill off and eliminate all of the Sentinels, since the Sentinels are the equalizing force to counteract the Thronodians and fight back against the Thronodians. So that's the reason why the Fractidus essentially invaded Mount Firmament and tried to poison and kill WUWA. And the Sentinel of Renacita, Imperator, no longer exists due to the fact that Cartethia unfortunately passed away, and the only way we could revive her was using Imperator's power. Imperator then sacrificed herself to bring back and revive Cartethia, and that was the end of Imperator. Imperator no longer exists. Renacita no longer has a sentinel to defend them, which means in theory the Fractidus no longer have a reason to remain in Renacita. Their plan has succeeded. They actually managed to get rid of one of the sentinels. Imperator no longer exists, so they can now go to a different region and plot their next steps. And I believe the next phase of their plan is to break Scar out of prison, because I believe the Fractidus do need Scar for the next phase of their plan, and then they will flee over to the New Federation. Now, another thing you guys need to be concerned about, and another thing you need to keep in mind, is way back in 1.1, Phrolova not only said she's planning to break Scar out of prison, but the Fractidus are very, very close to creating a mechanism or creating a force that is going to enable these resonators of the Fractidus to go about a second awakening, a reawakening. And if you guys don't believe me, well, here's the clip and proof.
We have the answers we wanted already. With the second resonance awakening, we will tap into powers that rival the Sentinels. Complete control of the artificial resonator awakening process is within reach.
Now, if they succeed in their plans here, this could be catastrophic for the entirety of Solaris 3. Now, why have I mentioned this? Because maybe the reason why Phrolova has not yet broken Scar out of prison is because this reawakening process she's referring to, and this forceful power or mechanism they are developing to create a second awakening, is going to be used upon Scar, which is then going to cause Scar to then mutate and reawaken, which is then going to enable him to break out of prison himself, which is then again going to cause mass chaos and destruction for the city of Jinzhou and for Huanglong as a whole. If this happens, this will be a huge deal and a very good payoff to why we haven't seen Scar yet, and it could also lead to a brand new resonator. Don't forget, when a reawakening happens, the resonator gets new powers and a new basically Zenkai buff, so maybe we'll get a rework for Scar, and then that version of Scar that is reawakened will be the playable version down the road. That is just a theory, a game theory, but that is what I believe could also be the case, and the reason why Kira Games has not written Scar into the story, because it's all part of the plan. The plan to reawaken Scar as a reawakened resonator, and he's going to be the key to take down Sentinels rather than using us to do it for them. Well, there it is. There is my theory, and there is my prediction on what I think is going to happen with the character of Scar. It's a shame we haven't seen him since 1.0, but if my theories are correct, and if my theories point to anything, this could be a really good payoff and a very good return for Scar in the future of the Wuthering Waves story. It would be really cool to see Scar get a reawakening, maybe even change his look, maybe he gets longer hair, maybe he gets shorter hair, maybe it heals the scars that he has on his body and it just gives him an entirely new look. Kuro Games is no stranger to reworking characters, as we've seen in Punishing Grey Raven. Many villains are playable within Punishing Grey Raven, so maybe the reason why we haven't seen Scar and Scar isn't playable is because they plan on developing his character looks wise and his character arc and story arc going forward in the story. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of my theories and my ideas for the story of Scar and for the future of Wuthering Waves, and let me know what you guys thought of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. We are trying to hit 10,000 subscribers, and I do believe we can do that with your help. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy and have a good rest of your day.